Hi guys, good morning. Welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Bridget Tekpo. How you guys doing? I hope this light is not blinding. Thank you very much for stopping by. If you haven't subscribed, it's the red button down there. Please click on the subscription button, and if you click on the bell sign, you get notification whenever I post my vlogs. Today I have a bit of sad news to share with you guys. It's important for us to know about these things so that we can learn. I mean, people can be aware and, be proactive in safeguarding themselves. So a bit of background about this story. Last year, a similar incident happened in the UK here in Leicester, where a woman, 27-year-old woman, was strangled to death by her husband. Initially, the police thought that she was the one that killed the husband, and then they killed herself. But later on, after they did a post-mortem examination, the results came out that she was the one that was actually strangled, and then the man killed himself. It was a Zimbabwean woman as well, and the husband was from the Caribbean. There's been a few incidents like this. Women from Zimbabwe background have been murdered by either their husband or their partners, and I think it's really, really sad. Unfortunately, it's happened again, and this time it was only last week here it happened to this young, beautiful lady that you can see on my screen here. This lady is 39 years old. Her name is Loretta, and apparently the story is that she's 39 years old and she would have been 40 on Monday, which was yesterday. Today's Tuesday. She would have been 40 years old. So she was killed like a few days before her 40th birthday. Still an ongoing police investigation. The statement that was issued by the police says that the murder probe have been launched after a married couple were found dead in their home in East London. Oh, that's strange. I'm not sure why they are saying East London. Okay, this is Evening Standard. Trust them not to check. It actually happened in Essex. It's not East London. Her name is Loretta Sambisco Loretta. She's Mula, 39, and her husband Gary Kai Mula, 51, were found dead in their home in Rainham. Rainham is in Essex. And then he goes on to say that a post-mortem examination found the woman died from compression on her neck. Police said the man's death is not being treated as suspicious. So if the police are saying that they are not treating the man's death as suspicious, that's to tell you that you know how police word their statement that they release out. That's to tell you that they are not looking for anyone in connection with his death. He took his own life, basically. So this lady Loretta is she's a midwife, and the husband is a nurse here in the UK, and she has they have two children together. Apparently the woman already had like an adult child from a previous relationship, and then she has other 2 or 3 children with this current partner. Beautiful woman, bubbly woman. The person I was talking to me said that she's really bubbly, full of life, really into activities, community activities and things like that. You would never ever suspect that there's any issue with that. She's got any issues in terms of marital problems or crisis in her marriage or anything like that. Actually, this came as a very big surprise to their friends, because I mean, this lady was like, nobody ever suspected that there was anything amiss, because this lady never spoke about anything. She was always looking, bubbly, she was working, she was active in so many groups and in doing so many things with her life. She looks like someone that, they look like someone that their life is so grounded. You guys remember that one story I shared with you guys a while ago about a Zimbabwean man who was recording himself in the car. I did a video about it a while ago. I think it's over a year ago. Some of you may not have seen it. I'm just going to link it here so you can have a look at that story. This time around, it was a man that was saying, oh, you know, he's had issues with his wife, and, you know, he doesn't want to go on with life. He wants to, you know, kill himself and things like that. Apparently, he didn't die because he drank the rat poison. This is now, again, information from people who know him, telling me that he did drink the rat poison. But incidentally, because the rat poison in this country is not as potent as the one we have in Africa, he didn't die. So they got to him on time, pumped his stomach, took it out, and of course, because he's now a risk to himself, and you know, and who knows, to the society or to the wife who he was talking about in the video, he had to be sanctioned in a mental health hospital. And I understand that he's still in that mental health hospital till today. So these are some of the issues. I personally believe that whatever happens in life is a teachable moment. We can learn from anything. The greatest mess in this world, you can learn from it. You can take something from it. And the lesson from this incident is that when people are in an abusive relationship, then they need to take themselves out of that relationship. They really, really need to do something for themselves and take themselves, and not wait until everything disintegrates and, you know, and the relationship breaks down completely to the point that lives will be lost. That's the most dangerous thing. That's why abuse is something that, you know, as much as Christians, you say, oh, people should stay in marriage. We don't encourage divorce. The Bible hates divorce. But when there's abuse, then you have to run for your life, because you might be saying, oh, and the thing about abuse is that people that are abusive, physical abuse I'm talking about in this case, when people are physically abusive towards the other person, they can say, oh, they will come back and say, oh, I won't do it again. Sorry, this is a one-off. It will never happen again. You know, please forgive me. It's the devil and things like that. But the thing is that historically, and with all the research available there, abusers never ever change. Especially those who do not seek help, those who do not go to therapy and seek support to address the underlying issues why, you know, what led to the abuse in itself. So I don't know if abuse was in this I'm just speculating here, but for a man to suddenly wake up one day, end his wife's life and end his own life, and they have children, leaving those children to be orphans overnight, then issues, there must have been issues on ground, definitely. And you know, sometimes as Africans, we do tend to overlook things. We don't address things until they get out of hand, until the things get to a boiling point and it consumes us. You know, most African people will not be open to counseling. If you suggest to a man that, okay, let's go and sit down in one counselor's office and start talking about our issues and start trashing out our problems, they will be like, what's that? Who is that person that I'm going to talk to? And you'll be paying money to go and talk to someone about your problem. But they don't know that these people are trained psychologists, and this is their job. They understand human behavior. They understand how the mind works. So they can talk you. There's something they call talking therapy. They talk with you. You don't know. It happens over time. It's not something that, it's not like medication that you just take and in an hour's time it will work. It happens over time. With time, as you begin to talk about those issues, you begin to trash them out with professional guidance and, you know, support, then you deal with it. You deal with them, because it is very, very dangerous when you don't deal with issues. I'm telling you, when you don't deal with issues, it can consume you, it can ruin your life, and it can ruin the life of everyone around you. Husband and nurse, both with professional jobs, they have a home, they have beautiful children, and all of a sudden, I mean, what do you say to children? What do you say to these children? How can somebody explain it to them that all of a sudden they will just wake up one day and their parents are no more? How? How do you explain it? How do you even begin this sort of conversation? It is really, really, really sad. Please, if you are in a troubled relationship and you see the signs that things are not working, seek help. Just talk to someone. In this country, there are so many places where you can get help. You can talk to your GP. you know, and anything you discuss with a medical practitioner is confidential. If you don't want your family or your friends to be aware of it, please talk to someone who can help you. Don't live with it until it will escalate and consume you and ruin your life and the life of people around you, because that's what's happened. And then other issues that comes to play in things like this is when, you know, relationships like this want to end. I'm not saying it happened in these cases, but other scenarios that come to play is that when two people come together, for instance, and buy a house, we know the way houses are in this country. You want to buy a house, is a mortgage. It's basically a loan, yeah, that you are taking from the bank, and then you are paying the bank back gradually with interest. So when you take a mortgage based on two people's income, and along the way problems arise and one person now wants to get out of it, and the other person knows that they are not going to be able to cope, because the thing about life is that the more you are blessed, the more you want to do. So if you have like a 2-bedroom house, and then God blesses you, maybe when you were working as a healthcare assistant, you had a 2-bedroom house, and then you become a midwife or a nurse, or you become a doctor, you buy a 4-bedroom house. That's how houses have category. The richer you are, the bigger your problem are. That is life for you there. You know, the bigger your bills will become. So then when one person now wants to withdraw, for instance, in a partnership like that, in a relationship like that, whereby the one of the parties knows that they're not going to be able to sustain that mortgage. They're not going to be able to, with one income, pay the mortgage, pay all their utility bill, you know, still care for themselves, still do things that they want to do, go on holidays without breaking down. Even if you work 365 days a year without any rest, you will not be able to maintain, you know, the lifestyle that you are accustomed to without income. So it becomes a problem too. One person might feel threatened, and we know in this country again that when relationship break down like that, it's always the man that has to leave the home. And some men don't take that well. They don't, because in Africa it's different. It's the man that sends the wife packing. In Nigeria, for instance, I don't know about how it happened in Zimbabwe, because someone was telling me that in Zimbabwe that you can be married, you'll be in the same house, and your husband, the government will ask your husband to be paying you support, will be paying you money for your upkeep. That was one of the few things that Robert Mugabe did for them in that country. But that doesn't happen in Nigeria, so it's different from country to country how these things work. So in this country, is the man that leaves, especially when there are children involved. And I know how a man can feel broken being asked to leave the house that they've labored for, that they worked for. I mean, it's not something that a black man, an African man, would take so well. It would take the grace of God. I know quite a few people that have left their houses. I'm telling you, I'm not talking about council flats. I'm not talking about 2-bedroom. I'm talking about detached houses that have got 4-bedroom, 2 sitting room, a large garden that's like a football pitch. This is their sweat. This is the houses they've worked for. And then because of issues and because of the system, you are asked to leave. Some men will not take it. They will rather die if God does not intervene in a way that the man is able to leave, you know. And then things will start going on in the minds of the man that, okay, where am I going to start from? Am I going to start from one room? Am I going to be renting? Am I going to be squatting with my friends, sofa surfing? You know, where am I going to start from? Am I going to be homeless? You can't be homeless, because there's an income you earn in this country that they will not accept you as a homeless person. They will tell you you can afford to pay for private tenancy. Go and rent from private. And then at the same time, the system makes it that you will still keep paying for that house that you used to share with your previous with your partner. You keep paying. And then this is where the problem is. You keep paying for that house, and then you now have to pay for the new house that you are renting. I know quite a few people that this has happened to. I'm telling you, it almost ruined their lives. It wasn't easy. I know some people that have run away from this country because of this scenario I've just painted to you. Like I said, I'm not saying this is what happened here, but I'm just playing all the different scenarios that can become problematic, that can lead to, you know, extreme measures like this, people taking extreme measures to address issues. When a woman tells you, leave the house, how many black men, how many African men can take that? They can't. Most times they cannot. With white men, Oyibo men, they don't mind. They will just, before you even say anything, they pack their bag. In fact, when they are quarreling, said they will sleep in the couch. But African men, because it's not in our culture for a man to leave his house for the wife that he married. It's not. It's something that is foreign. I mean, fortunately and unfortunately, I don't know. Fortunately, if you're a woman, unfortunately, if you're a man, in this instance, it works differently because we don't live in Africa. We live in a country that has different rules, and some people cannot play by the rules, and then this is what happens. So this is really, really sad. I'm just going to end by saying that, guys, please look after yourself. There's nothing in this world that is worth dying for. Nothing that is worth dying for. And I know sometimes that people go through things and you feel like, oh, it will never end. But trust me, tough times don't last, but tough people do. That situation that you feel like, oh, I'm never going to get back to my feet. I'm never going to, be able to start. Like the example of the guy that I'm telling you about that left his large, big house for his wife. Today now, he's moved on, he's in another relationship now. He's in a good place now, although he said he's never buying a house again. It's a case of once bitten, twice shy. Yeah, he said he's in a new relationship now. He can't afford to. But I think because he was so traumatized by the experience of the first house, he said he's never, ever going to buy a house again. So, yeah, let's just look after ourselves, please. There is nothing. You shouldn't kill yourself. You shouldn't kill anyone because of marriage. These children are going to suffer. They are going to go through so much in their life. Their lives are never going to be the same again because of the actions of one person. Oh, God. The only thing we can take away from this is how to prevent it from happening. It's a learning for us to learn that, you don't need to do this. As a man, you don't need to do it. As a woman, you don't need to wait. You don't need to wait until this happens to you. Please seek some help. Stay alive for your children. Stay alive for yourself. And stay alive for those who love you. There is no need for this. Yeah. So, I'll talk to you guys in my next one. Thank you very much for watching. I love you. Mwah.